Yes, we have another plot twist in BC's always rough and tumble provincial politics. BC United MLA Elenore Sturko is jumping ship to the BC Conservatives, the second in just a few days. Lindsay Duncombe has more on this move just months before the provincial election.
Hello. This defection, part of a seismic shift in BC politics.
Ultimately, I've made this decision to join what really is the largest grassroots movement we've seen in our province.
Elenore Sturko, former RCMP spokesperson, lesbian, and rising political star, is the second BC United MLA to leave the official opposition and join the BC Conservatives in just a few days, doubling the caucus from 2 to 4.
We're building a broad-based coalition, this grassroots movement across the province, people coming in wanting to see that change.
We're BC United. Join us.
The defections follow rapidly declining support for BC United. That's the new name for the former BC Liberals, the party of former Premiers Gordon Campbell and Christy Clark.
What we appear to be witnessing is the collapse of BC United. The wheels seem to have come off the bus.
Vancouver is the third most unaffordable housing market in the world.
The reason? The popularity of the federal Conservatives. Pierre Poilievre is campaigning against the policies of BC NDP Premier David Eby, blaming Eby and Prime Minister Trudeau for BC's high cost of living and attacking progressive drug policies.
Really, I think what is going on is the antipathy that exists across the country for Justin Trudeau, the rise of a conservative movement, which has swept across a lot of British Columbia.
The leader of the BC Conservatives is a former BC Liberal who was kicked out of the caucus for his views on climate change. The Conservatives dropped 3 candidates for views on LGBTQ rights and COVID vaccinations. BC Premier David Eby is currently ahead in the polls, benefiting from a divided right.
But if that is changing, the BC Conservatives may be a formidable foe. BC's next election is 4 months away. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Vancouver.
And leading up to that election, the leader of the BC United weighed in on this second defection from his party to the Conservatives.
I'm disappointed and frankly shocked at the decision that Elenore chose to make, especially going over to a party that she has long disavowed, both to me personally and to our caucus, for being far too extremist.
Falcon argues as the election gets closer, it will become clear the public wants a reasonable, common sense approach to government represented by his party. So what do Elenore Sturko's constituents think of her defection? We asked some of them in her Surrey South riding.
Personally, I'm not sure there's much difference in between her current party and the Conservatives, but I thought there might be some kind of reaction from some other voters, but I don't think there will be.
I think she's a good politician, and I guess if she feels her interests are more aligned with them, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, those two parties are similar.
We probably thought that was a good move for her to do that. Just because the Conservatives are a little bit more visual, a little bit known a little bit more than the United.
That's no good. I tried that.
I like her so much. I don't know. I'm really giving it a lot of thought.
If her policies and opinions align better with Conservative Party and she's not getting through from the BC United Liberal side, then I'm sure it's fine. You gotta do what you gotta do. But if it's just for opportunity and you don't really care about the community you're serving, you're just doing it for your own career growth or whatever, then that kind of looks shady.
It's very interesting to see that she does support this party that kind of doesn't really respect her identity to the core, so it'll be interesting to see.
For more on this latest shift in BC politics, and it's a big one, we're joined by UBC political science professor Gerald Baier, always a fan of the show. Gerald, appreciate you being here. First, another pickup for the Conservatives. What does this say about any of the momentum that party has and what BC United doesn't have?
It's just explosive momentum right now. Last week started off sort of bad for the Conservatives. They had a candidate resign for Twitter comments that were, sort of decided to be unpopular. It looked like they were having a bad week. They ended with the caucus chair of the BC United joining their party and, running under their banner for the next election. And now, sort of the top prize, potentially, a star candidate that the BC United brought in for a by-election, who is, leaving the party now and does a lot for the Conservatives, does a lot to bring in a strong candidate, a well-known candidate, that well-known in her constituency, maybe even well-known across the province, and a moderating candidate, somebody who takes a little bit of the sting out of some of the accusations of extremism that the BC Conservatives might face in an election.
I wanted to pick up on that. As you said, Elenore Sturko, we know her as a former Surrey RCMP spokesperson, highly critical of this government's decriminalization policy. She's also gay, and as we heard in the story and you intimated, joining a party that has members who have ridiculed her for her sexuality and have slammed pride parades. How do you think that will play?
Well, I mean, I think part of it for, at a personal level, and she says that those candidates have apologized to her personally, and that's okay. I think the BC United leader, Kevin Falcon, has said you wouldn't believe what she'd said about them in the past, probably in regards to exactly those matters. So I think that is still a tough call. That's still going to be something that the voters are going to try to work out in terms of the party. I don't think this will lead to, LGBTQ voters going en masse to the BC Conservative Party because Elenore Sturko is there, but it does have a moderating effect for maybe some of those centrist voters who are saying, well, that's a little bit too far for me. And so I think, she'll continue to push that. That might moderate more candidates. It might even mean that some of the candidates in the Conservatives think again about what party they're in, because this seems like much closer to a centrist party with her in it than it did, before the weekend.
UBC political science professor Gerald Baier, we always appreciate your time and your insight. Thanks again.
Problem.